A new poll reveals only 6% of voters say they're greatly impacted by the shutdown, with nearly a third who don't even know there is one. Joining us now to discuss this and more is former Trump White House economic advisor Steve Moore. Steve, good morning to you.
Good morning, Jan.
For those who live and work in the D.C. area, it's clearly more of a story, right? But is this more evidence we can permanently live without most non-essential federal employees?
Well, when you're running a $2 trillion deficit and spending that much more money than you're bringing in, you probably need to find ways to get rid of agencies and workers that are not doing the things that are essential. By the way, that poll that you're citing was about 3 days ago, and now we are starting to see some strains. I got a call last night from a friend in Nashville saying that the Nashville airport was shut down after 7 o'clock because they didn't have enough air controllers. So, this is going to cause some havoc. Hopefully this will get resolved. I've lived through about 15 of these shutdowns over my career. Usually they last a week or so. And hopefully they'll get this resolved. But look, the stakes are high here because Democrats want to add another $1.5 trillion of spending when we just can't afford it.
And that's because they want to extend Obamacare subsidies. The Washington Post, though, as you pointed out, finally admits Obamacare, also known as the Affordable Care Act, was never actually affordable, and it took them 15 years to write something about it. Steve, talk about this, because conservatives have said this from the very beginning. Once you create dependency on government handouts, it's impossible to take it back.
And even the Washington Post editorial board admitted that the other day, and they've been strong supporters over the years of Obamacare. But it was really kind of a sham all along. They called the Obamacare, the official name was the Affordable Care Act, but it just hasn't made health care more affordable. The subsidies kept getting bigger and bigger. More and more of the costs are put on the back of the taxpayers, which is adding to our debt. And the worst thing about it is the quality of our care, as measured by things like life expectancy, hasn't improved. So I would have to say that Obamacare has been a failure, and we have to find a way to provide quality care but not explode the budget at the same time.
Right. Meantime, gold hit a record high at $4,000 yesterday, an ounce, right?
Yeah.
What's happening here, Steve? This is concerning, right?
It is concerning. You don't want gold prices to be rising, because it's a sign of two things typically. Number one, it's a flee to safety, where investors are getting nervous about the world economy, and what do? They invest in gold. And the other thing that it typically presages is an increase in inflation. Now, we haven't seen a big boost in inflation. I mean, inflation is still out there, no question, but we haven't seen the kind of inflation we saw under Biden. But I don't know. It just makes me nervous. By the way, you go back just 5 or 6 years ago, gold was at $2,000. So that's a 100% increase in 5 years. That's a big jump.
Yeah. You posted a chart I wanted to take a look at with you on Harvard's endowment, which at the top you can see it says it jumped to $53.2 billion. All tax-free. It delivered a nearly 10% return. So why in the world, Steve, are taxpayer dollars continuing to flow into the school?
Yeah, now what's happening now is Harvard is suing the federal government for not giving them billions and billions of dollars each year. And then the question is, well, why are we giving them anything when they're so flush with cash? By the way, every single penny, if you look at that chart, it's now up to $53 billion. Every single penny of that money, Jan, was put into this endowment tax-free. It was never taxed, so it's a sweet deal for Harvard. And yet, at the same time, guess what? The tuitions go up and up and up and up. And so, what are they doing with all that money, and why do they need more of our taxpayer dollars?
Yeah, why are we allowing that to happen? That's something the White House is going to have to eventually figure out, because, like you said, $2 trillion in spending a year. We got, $37 trillion in debt. Something's got to give, right?
Well, Jan, I think we should be taxing these endowments. If everybody else pays taxes, why shouldn't Harvard?
Yep. Former White House economic advisor, it's a thought. Steve Moore, always good to see you, sir. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Have a great week.
You too.